Now, it should go without saying that you cannot outtrain a bad diet. You can be working out all you want, pushing yourself hard at the gym, but if your nutrition is not on point, then realistically, you won't be seeing the results that you want. Now, assuming that you think you're eating right, you're eating the right amount of foods, the right types of foods, you may not. You gotta probably really reflect on it to make sure that you're eating the right things. But in case you're unsure, stay tuned for the whole video so you can see 4 common nutrition mistakes that I've seen lifters make that you should definitely be avoiding if you want to maximize your results in the gym. What's up everyone, David here. Got a new video for y'all today, but before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new videos, because remember, new videos on this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, so don't miss out. So we're going to be going over 4 of the common nutrition mistakes that I see lifters make, and most of the time it's usually beginners that make these issues. So if you're a beginner, lucky for you, or even if you're an intermediate lifter but you notice yourself doing these things, yeah, stop it, because you won't be seeing as much results as you possibly could. So mistake number 1 that I've seen is that you're only prioritizing protein and nothing else. Okay, so there's 3 macronutrients. Macro means big, so the big nutrients are going to be protein, carbs, and fats. All 3 equally as important for just overall health. But why is protein specifically always emphasized a little bit more, especially amongst beginners? All they do is eat so many chicken breasts, so much meat, so much fish, so many eggs, protein, protein, protein. It's because protein is what helps us build muscle. Again, you cannot maximize your muscle growth without an adequate amount of protein throughout the day. But here's the thing. Protein is not the only macronutrient that's important. We need carbs, we need fats. Why do we need those 2? It's because that's our body's fuel source. I mean, our body runs off of carbs. We use fat as a fuel when we're doing our low intensity, just going on our light walks, light jogs, just some steady state cardio. What is your body burning? We're using our body fat. When you do high intensity workouts, like, most of your bodybuilding workouts, your HIIT workouts, your powerlifting, your big lifts, what is it that our body is running off of? It's not running off of protein. No, the higher the intensity, the more your body's gonna be relying on carbs. Remember, carbs break down into sugars, and your body uses that sugar for fuel. So for those of you who are going keto and avoiding the carbs, you gotta really reflect and say, why am I doing this? Because for health reasons, I would definitely advise not going down that route, but that's a completely different video. Your body needs protein, carbs, and fats. There's a reason why all 3 nutrients were put on this earth. It's because we're meant to consume them, but you gotta figure out why you're consuming and everything. So carbs and fats, important, because that's our body's fuel source. We need it. It's like filling up a car with gas, all right? It needs it so you can start driving, just how your body needs carbs and fats for fuel to get you through the workout. Your body needs protein to help you build muscle. So is there something wrong with eating a lot of protein? No, realistically, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you're eating. Also emphasize the carbs, also emphasize the fats, but in moderation. How much you need of all 3 is gonna depend on your goals, your body type. There's so many things to take into account, but just putting that out there, protein should not be the only emphasis. Second mistake I see lifters make is, especially those who were like myself, I was a skinny kid my entire life. I was never big. I was always relatively thin. I mean, even if you look at me right now, I can easily admit with no ego, I am not the biggest person. I'm not the biggest influencer. Granted, I'm also not on steroids. I will definitely help out if I ever decide to jump on any. But I'm not that big of a person. Yet, I also don't really train for bodybuilding. I'm realistically trained more for strength and just general function. I'd rather lift a lot than look like I lift a lot. But that's just my own personal preference. But if you're someone like me, when you first started lifting and you did want to put on some size, I want to fill out my shirt a little bit more, fill out the sleeves, just want to look wide. There's no denying you need a lot of food for that. You got to eat. You got to eat big to get big. I mean, everyone always says that. You always hear all these big bodybuilders say that. But here's the thing. When it comes to bulking up, eating food in the hopes of gaining size, gaining muscle, you got to also realize that we're not only eating for size, we should also be eating for health. What I mean by this, a lot of beginners, they just start loading up on the calories. You even hear all these bodybuilders, all these influencers say, oh yeah, just eat high calorie food, eat some donuts, eat a lot of fat, drizzle this on here, add sauces, all that. It just calories in, calories, calories, which yes, it will help you build up some size. Yeah, you could possibly build up more muscle, assuming everything else is lined up in terms of your recovery, your workouts, and the right types of food that you're eating. But at the end of the day, you also can't neglect your health. Is there something wrong with a bulking diet? Not necessarily, but if you do it long term, what are you doing? You're eating high amounts of fats, probably high amounts of junk food. And what is that doing? That's clogging your arteries, all right? Eventually, you're gonna put on a good amount of fat, which is not overall good for your just general health. We also have to eat our fruits and vegetables. Everyone makes a joke about bodybuilding diets, it's the chicken and rice. Okay, what about the greens? What about the broccoli, the spinach, the carrots, the celery, the strawberries, the oranges, the bananas, all these different things? We can't neglect our health when it comes to eating high calorie diets in the hopes of putting on size. And that's something that I feel many beginners make because their only goal is just to look big. You got to think about the long-term picture. You got to think about where you're going to be in 5 or 10, 20 years. If you're someone like me, I plan to be lifting, I plan to be fit my entire life. I'm not just thinking about trying to put on as much size in these next 3 months getting ready for summer. No, I'm thinking about what type of physical condition am I going to be when I'm 60 years old, 70 years old. I got to prioritize my health as well, because if you don't, if you're just living in the moment right now, just, fuck it, eat everything inside, look big, okay? All those health conditions, you may not feel it now in your 20s, but as you start getting older, you're going to start feeling it. So really start prioritizing that. Eat your fruits, eat your vegetables, eat clean. You don't have to be in such a high calorie diet to gain weight. You just need a small caloric surplus each day, and over time you'll slowly and naturally build up the size and the physique that you want. Now, how much you need to be in a caloric surplus, again, that's going to vary on person to person, your size and your goals, and also what are just your general diet needs. What are your caloric restrictions? Everything just depends on you. But one thing I just really want to emphasize is don't just focus on the calories in. No, prioritize your health. Eat your greens, eat your vegetables. Focus on the micronutrients. We just talked about the macros, protein, carbs, fats. Also focus on the micro means small, micronutrients. I'm talking about our minerals, our vitamins, all those little things. Again, that's the health. That's what helps us stay in the game for a long time. Third mistake I see people make, especially those who are beginners, is they're finally starting to understand the concept that if they want to put on weight, they have to eat a lot of food. But I think where they go wrong, and from what I've seen, is they think that more meals necessarily are what's going to give them the results they want. I mean, the good example I like to think here is Rich Piana, RIP. One of my favorite bodybuilders growing up. When I first started working out, he was definitely one of the guys that I looked on YouTube to try to figure out what type of workouts I should be doing. And granted, yeah, he is on steroids. He openly admits it, but I see nothing wrong with that. If you want to jump on gear, by all means, we're all can do whatever we want, our body, our choice, whatever. Do you. But the one part where he always says, like, if you're eating 6 times a day and you're not seeing results, okay, bump it up to 7 times a day. If you're not getting results, not gaining weight the way you want, you're not packing on size, okay, 7 meals is not working, go to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He said apparently he can eat 12 meals a day.
Well, everybody knows the answer. Eat more. Yeah, but I eat, 5 times a day. Is it working? No. Well, eat more. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You got to eat whatever it takes. You got to do it. So if you got to eat 12 times a day because you have a fast metabolism, then do it. I can eat 12 times a day.
Okay, if you can eat 12 times a day, good for you. But for the general public, that's not feasible, especially if we're working a full-time job, we're going to school. Who has time to eat 12 meals a day? Unless you're a professional bodybuilder and that's your full-time job, the rest of the world cannot spend that much time eating. I mean, let's just think about it. Assuming we're going to eat 12 times a day, let's just say it takes us half an hour to eat. Actually, no, let's just say at the absolute, it takes us 20 minutes to eat each meal, and we're eating 12 times a day. I mean, think about it. That's just 4 hours throughout the day where we're just nonstop eating. That's not feasible. Now, beginners, they say that 6 seems to be the magic number amongst all Bible. I eat 6 times a day here, I eat 6 times a day there. Is it the number of meals that really matters, that determines how much progress you're gonna make, how much weight you're gonna put on? No, what matters is just your overall daily caloric intake. Now, you have to eat big to get big. You have to eat a certain amount of calories throughout the day to see the results you want. And I don't want beginners to think that calories is determined by how many meals you eat. No, because everyone has different appetites. Some people, they can eat 3 big meals throughout the day, and that can give them roughly 4,000 calories. Other people have to eat 6 times a day, but in smaller quantities. But at the end of the day, they still ate the same amount of calories, which was 4,000. And that is perfectly fine. The mistake that I see people think is they think more meals is the answer to their weight gain issues. No, the number of meals has absolutely nothing to do with it. The number of calories in the overall day does. So if you're someone like me, I cannot eat that much food in one sitting. So yeah, I have to break it down a little bit more. Eat more frequently, but smaller meals. But at the end of the day, I'm still hitting the amount of calories that I need. What I'm currently doing right now is I'm doing 5 decent sized meals and then a smaller meal and then a snack throughout the day. So we'll just say 6 meals plus a snack, even though one of those meals is really small. Like I'm talking about just like a small protein shake, like that big, like those little box ones from Costco. I drink it right before my workout. I count that as a meal, but fuck it, whatever. But again, there's other people that could just eat bigger quantities of food in one sitting. Some people do intermittent fasting where they go the majority of the day without eating, but then when it's finally time to eat their lunch or dinner, they're only eating 2 meals a day. It's a lot bigger and they're eating the right amount of calories that they need for their goals, which is perfectly fine. Again, meals have absolutely nothing to do with it. Overall caloric intake, that's what you need to take into account if you want to see weight gain and you want to build that muscle. And lastly, the 4th mistake I see lifters make, and I personally would consider it, I can see how it relates to nutrition, since this is a video about nutrition mistakes, but realistically, supplementation should be its own separate genre, in my opinion. But since we're on the topic of just intaking it, we'll include it here for now. The mistake that I see people make, lifters make, especially beginners, is they think that supplements are this God-given asset that was brought down to earth that's gonna make just a night and day difference to the results that we see in the gym. And why is that? I have no idea. That is not the case. 3 main supplements I'm talking about here: protein powder, creatine, caffeine. Now, don't get me wrong, each one has its time and place. Each one has its benefits. These 3 are the 3 ergogenic aids that have endless research proving why they are effective. Okay, so you already know they're science-based. There is proof. They show and they've been proven to work. But the issue is everyone solely relies on them only. Specifically the protein powder. I see a lot of beginners, it's immediately once they start their fitness journey, they start thinking, oh, I need to buy those jars of protein. I gotta take so many of these protein shakes so if I want to see the results that you want. No, why are you emphasizing so many protein shakes? Why are you emphasizing so many scoops of protein throughout the day when you're not even eating any real food throughout the day? You're not even eating the right amount of calories to start off with, but immediately start drinking the shakes? No, prioritize eating your chicken, your steak, your tuna, your fish, whatever it is that has protein that comes from a natural food source. Why aren't you eating that? Don't think that the protein powder is gonna make a night and day difference. No, yeah, is it protein? Is it gonna help you see results? Without a doubt, but you shouldn't solely be relying on that. Remember, these things are called supplements because they're meant to supplement your diet. Real food should always take precedence over supplements. I mean, going back to the example of Rich Piana, RIP. He always used to advocate it's like real food, real food, real food. He even has a product called Real Food where it's just, you know, a bunch of powdered carbohydrates or whatever it was. I can't even remember. It's been so long since I found out about that. But he used to always emphasize, and although he was on steroids, I mean, in all his videos, he does show him always eating his food. So he was a real big advocate of just nonstop calories coming from real food sources. You hardly ever saw him actually mess around with the protein shakes. The shakes that he did make, they were all just real food. I remember there was a whole series where he made protein shakes out of just a bunch of egg whites, cocoa pebbles, bananas, and in his real food supplement in there, whatever it was. I think it was like powdered yams or like grounded up yams, something like that. So there you go. Supplements should not be the answer to your problems. If you're new, do not solely rely on them, okay? If you're already eating a high protein diet, you're already eating the right types of food that you're supposed to, eating the right amounts of calories, really emphasizing and calculating how many protein, carbs, and fats you need, then realistically, the protein powder, you don't need it because you're already hitting your daily protein goals. Now, for the caffeine, if you're not getting adequate sleep, then you should really reconsidering why you're taking caffeine. You're just using it as a band-aid to cover up the issue. You have poor sleep quality, you have inconsistent sleep, and the few hours of sleep that you are getting is not of high quality. So really put that into account. And then the creatine, yes, that will help you build a little bit of muscle. More research on that, you can look it up yourself, but I just want to put that out there. Creatine definitely is the most researched supplement out there, so definitely do your own research on that to see why you should be taking it. That's number one in my opinion, but that's just me. There you have it, everyone. That's just 4 of the most common nutrition mistakes that I see lifters make. Usually it's more of those beginners that do these mistakes, so if that's you, definitely stop it. If you're not a beginner but you're still making these mistakes, reflect on it, figure out why you're doing it, and stop it. Implement these changes. Again, these are just my opinions. These are just from what I've seen and just some advice that I would give from based on what I do or what I've seen or from what research that I've done. But you know, who am I to speak? Who am I to speak? Do what you think is best for you. Comment down below if this video was helpful. Comment down below what are some other common nutrition mistakes that you've seen others do. Comment down below so that others can, you know, maybe bring it up to the attention so they don't make the same mistakes. Also, just comment down below any other video suggestions you'd like to see me do, whether it be about mindset, motivation, nutrition, diets, workouts, programs, whatever it is, comment down below. I'd be more than happy to help you out. Be sure to subscribe not just to this channel, but my girlfriend's channel and our couple's channel so you don't miss out on any new videos. Because remember, we got new videos every week across the board for all 3 channels. For this channel specifically, new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So don't miss out. And then Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Be sure to follow me on my accounts, girlfriend's accounts, couples accounts. I put all the links down in the description below. With that being said, I'll catch y'all next time.